Hello there, I'm Lee Davey from the Needy Helper website, and this is a short blog post in response to an email that I received from one of my readers, who I will call Gary. Gary has been following the Needy Helper and also my previous blog, which was just my name, leedavey.co.uk. So he's been reading about my life and just my life for the past 18 months to 2 years. And he wrote me a letter in response to something that happened to me last year when I was in Las Vegas. And I just wanted to respond to that email that Gary had sent me in a video blog. and to do this when people write to me in general, really, just to spice things up a little bit on the blog and give yourself something to look at instead of something to read for 5 minutes. Basically, in terms of Gary had been sober for 5 years after being an alcoholic, and he had picked up my blog through our interest in poker and drinking and gambling and all those vices that are can be very terrible for you. And basically, what happened was I had given up drinking for 3 years and found myself in Las Vegas, where I was working for a period of 6 to 7 weeks last year. And something happened when I was in Las Vegas. One night I was in Planet Hollywood. I'd actually been there for 4 weeks. And don't forget, I haven't drunk alcohol for 3 years and 4 weeks. And I'm in Planet Hollywood, and the guys were asked for a round of drinks, and I put my hand up and said that I would have a sambuca. At the time I had no knowledge or understanding of why I asked for a sambuca, but I did. My friends were surprised, but happy that I'd ordered a sambuca, because people who drink alcohol get very uncomfortable around people who don't drink alcohol. I believe that's because it reinforces to them how stupid that it is to actually drink when they see somebody who has decided not to drink. Makes them feel uncomfortable, makes them question why they actually do what they do. And anyway, that I think that's why people get very excited when people who don't drink actually drink. It makes everything seem much better in the little circle of friends that you live in. So nobody said anything. I drank sambuca after sambuca after sambuca. And then that night, I did something that I hadn't done previously again for a number of years, which was to gamble. Obviously, I gamble when I play poker, but that's the other forms of gambling that I used to get involved in, such as roulette, sports betting, craps, blackjack, those type of things. I had stopped doing for a number of years, but that night I got drunk and lost $3,000 playing roulette. Woke up feeling pretty stupid, but carried on drinking nonetheless. What Gary actually said in the email was he was just looking forward to going to Vegas himself when he'd read my blog post to see that I'd fallen off the wagon, and it stopped him in his tracks. He kind of thought, wow, this guy's given up drinking for 3 years. He's been telling the whole world how easy it is, that he'll never ever drink again, goes to Las Vegas and falls off the wagon. And it scared him a little bit. And I just wanted to say that at the time that I didn't realize why I had started drinking again in Las Vegas, I've had a lot of time to reflect and to think about that. And I think I now know why I did that, and I just want to share that with Gary and the rest of the world. Basically, when I gave up drinking alcohol, I felt extremely isolated and alone. Reason being is my entire community, my family, my friends, everybody that I knew drank alcohol and drank a lot of it, and it was a way of life. You would go to work, you would come home, you would drink on the weekend, you would celebrate your freedom and release the shackles of your work by spending all the money that you'd earned in a pub. The word enjoyment and enjoying your life was associated with the fun times down the pub or the club, drinking alcohol. And when you stop that and you don't do that anymore, people start to think that you're a little bit strange, or if they don't think you're a little bit strange, you start to think that they think you're a little bit strange. Either way, it's not a very good feeling. And the other thing that happens is you don't necessarily want to associate yourself with drinkers, because you don't realize this until you stop drinking. But actually spending the evening talking to somebody who's drunk is akin to torture. I mean, I liken it to taking acid. I mean, you just go around the twist listening to this person repeating themselves, getting upset, getting angry, talking absolute nonsense. So it's not something that you like to do. So you try to avoid those events. And what happens is you tend to stop going out. You change as a person, I think, for the better. Instead of going out and getting drunk, you start investing your time in different things. I invested my time in self-learning, reading, trying to improve my life, and trying to find things that I wanted to do that brought me value while I was on this planet. But the other thing that happened was it affected my relationships. I became a different person. I moved on, like I said, and I lost a lot of friends. I lost a wife. And it was a very difficult time in my life. Now, fast forwarding on to Vegas, and what's my point? I didn't drink in Vegas because it was Vegas, showgirls, excitement, the roulette wheel, and all that. I drank in Vegas because I met another woman. I met my current girlfriend Liza in Vegas, and we started to have a relationship. And I got scared. I thought that if I didn't drink, then I would be boring. That society, well, that she wouldn't accept me, and that my new relationship would go the same as my old relationship. Because you need to understand that I think I always associated my wife leaving me with the fact that I had stopped drinking and become a person that she didn't like. So when I met this new girl, my natural assumption was that the same thing would happen, that I wouldn't drink, and that she would find me boring, and then she would find somebody else. So I did the stupidest thing, and I started to drink to try to impress this woman, which was ridiculous, but that's what I did. I come back, and what happened was I was still drinking when I came back, and I took my son to Blackpool, and I ordered a bottle of wine, and my son looked at me and said, "What are you doing, Dad?" And I don't think I'd ever felt so small in all my life. My boy looked up to me. I had done something that nobody had ever done that he'd known. I'd given up drinking. I tried to do that to save my marriage. He knew that, and there I was with a bottle of wine. I felt ridiculous and stupid. And I gave up immediately after that, and haven't drunk since. And I will refuse to even have a drop of it now. What did I learn from all that? One, I'm glad that I did drink in Vegas. It showed the vulnerability behind a disease such as alcoholism. I do realize that I am alcoholic. I do realize that I can't have one drink, that it will lead to more drinks. And this is the case of what Gary said to me on the email as well, that look, he faced acceptance that he was an alcoholic, he will always be an alcoholic, and that there's no cure for it. I just want to say, Gary, that staying sober, to me, is not a battle. And the reason that it isn't a battle is because of the book that I read by Alan Carr. Quickly. The methodology in the book about how you give up drinking changes the way that you think about alcohol and makes you realize how ridiculously stupid it is to even drink. And I think rather than spend our lives worrying about the fact that I could have a drink and I'm one drink away from being an alcoholic, I think it would benefit you to read the book, because I think you'll get a lot out of it. And for me, for example, I've never had a craving to drink alcohol until I drank alcohol. So when I started to drink alcohol in Vegas, the cravings come and hit me. But when I first gave up, I never had them, and it was because of this great book. So I never had to worry too much about battling against alcohol in that way. So please read the book, Gary, and ask me any questions you have on it, because I think the book can really help you to stop worrying too much about alcohol. Anyway, there you are. There's me waffling on about alcohol for 10 minutes. Hope you found it useful. Gary, please contact me again, and I hope you found this useful as well. Take care. Until the next time. Bye.